Welcome to Lead Pods, the official leadership podcast from USMB for pastors and church leaders, where our goal is to increase our impact together.
Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 153 of the USMB Lead Pods. My name is Matt Erzman, and as always, so glad to have you with me. So now we are officially in summer, at least in most parts of the U.S., and I don't know about you, but for me, maybe you're going to be hanging out outside, maybe you're planning some family vacations, spending some more time around the house, and most importantly, I know you just can't wait to come to Salt Lake City for the USMB Gathering event coming up here in July. We are just inching closer. It's going to be a big deal, and I know that's just on the top of your summer list here. So whether you're attending the event this year or not, today we're going to talk to one of our returning guests, back by popular demand. We've got Ms. Peggy Goertzen back with us. Peggy is the director and the archivist of the Center for MB Studies at Tabor College. And if you know Peggy at all, you know that she knows MB history better than just about anyone else, and she can tell you stories off the top of her head with all of the dates and all the people's names. It's really quite amazing. So today's another history lesson with our friend Peggy. And as we look ahead to the 2026 gathering coming up here soon, Peggy takes us back to where it all started. Why did we first start meeting in the first place? What were the original MB leaders trying to accomplish with these gatherings? And the history, of course, is fascinating, but it also gives us a good reminder of why we continue to meet and why these things are so important and why it's a good idea for us to work together at all as a larger group of churches. Anytime we talk with Peggy, I'm sure you're going to learn things, and I think you'll be inspired too. We've got just a really cool history that we are proud of. So let's get to it right now. Let's take a quick break to hear from this week's sponsor, and then we'll get to our friend, Miss Peggy Goertzen.
Many pastors and church leaders in sub-Saharan Africa are bivocational, working day jobs while serving their congregations in the evenings and on weekends. They often have little or no training and no access to a biblical education. This is your opportunity to help change that. Your sponsorship will enable a pastor to attend an important gathering this April for training, encouragement, and fellowship. Go to multiply.net/sub-Saharan-Africa today to learn how you can support a leader and strengthen the church in Africa.
All right, friends. Well, I'm excited to welcome back one of our most popular guests, back by popular demand, the one and the only Miss Peggy Goertzen. Peggy, I counted this morning. This is your fourth time on Lead Pods. Did you know that?
No, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
four times.
4 times. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, maybe that makes me something of a regular.
Yes. You must be doing something right.
I must be.
If people aren't familiar with Peggy, Peggy is the director and the archivist of the Center for Mennonite Brethren Studies at Tabor, and she is just the living legend of all things MB history. She knows everything off the top of her head. She's brilliant.
Oh wow. That's
But
hard
Peggy,
to
I think
love.
I've told you I've told you this before. I'm not really a huge history person necessarily, but you make it interesting. You make the stories come to life. You always do a really good job at that. So
Well, thank
today
you.
we're taking kind of a different, kind of an interesting angle on things as we're getting ready for the gathering convention in July in Salt Lake City. We're doing kind of a history of those gatherings, like why did we start doing those? What was the original purpose? What were some of the kind of the hallmark things of those early gatherings and conventions? And I've heard Aaron Box talk about how he kind of wants to kind of go back to that a little bit. Like why did we first start meeting, and remember why these are so important? What were the original goals? So that's where we're going to get to today. So we're talking late 1800s, Peggy, 1870, 75, 78, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Can you just, again, I guess if people don't remember that history, they don't know the history, you can go back to your previous episodes, Peggy, because you do a good job of giving the background. But let's set the stage a little bit. Remind us, what does 1870s MBs in America look like? Can you just give us a quick refresh of what brought them here and what life was like back then?
Yes. These were Mennonite brethren in South Russia, Russian Poland, and actually some came from Prussia.
Mhm.
And so it's a kind of a diverse group. We think they were all just the same, but they weren't.
Mhm.
And except that they all spoke German and they all loved the Lord, and that was the big deal. When they lived in when they lived in South Russia and Russian Poland, there were it was kind of a heyday for a while. Mennonites as a large group were given wonderful privileges.
Mm-hmm.
They won awards for their agricultural expertise. They were doing very well in that way. And then the government of the land, they decided, oh, these people they need to fall in line with the Russian restrictions, and they need to, their people need to serve, their boys need to serve in the military, and they need to be doing what everybody else has to do. They need to give up their German and do just Russian, and to them that meant giving up their faith. See, because these people had accepted the Lord in German, their Bibles were in German, and part of following Jesus, part of their discipleship was not serving in the military, but more than that, living at peace with God and man. I mean, it was that was a big deal, and to give that up just seemed impossible. So a large number of them, of the Mennonites, decided to emigrate, and North America, or America specifically, was chosen and as the place that would receive them. And a lot of that's due to Herbert Hoover and some of the other people in charge. But so they immigrated, and about, well, everybody has a different number of how many came, how many all that came, but there were thousands that came.
Okay.
Yes, and the different sources, they're all various, but they all decided to come, and so and railroad agents were actually kind of fighting over who would get them, because they had railroad land. They wanted them to settle on their land, and all of that, and so they were enticing them and trying to have it their way.
Yes.
And so that was part. So, but the places that were mostly in charge of they looked at Kansas, they looked at Nebraska, they looked at Minnesota, and they looked at the Dakota, what was called Dakota, or North and South Dakota later. And those were the places that they came from.
They come to the States, and so there's thousands. We don't know exactly how many.
Well, it ranges for Mennonite Brethren, actually, and the Crimmer Mennonite Brethren, because the MBs are a blend of two. They're two groups. But there were, we usually say 15 to 18,000, but the number changes. It depends what new sources are found and read and studied, and
And did this group come over together kind of as one large group, and then they spread out, or did they come in pockets, or how did we get so spread out geographically?
Yeah, how did we get so? Yeah, that's a good question. It sort of depended, and there was a elder Wilhelm Ewart, a Mennonite living overseas. He was sort of the vanguard. He was very well respected. He actually came from Prussia, and he kind of looked things over. And there was a group, the children's song, the 10 spies came over and looked. Yes, the song. Very, very cute. And they looked it over, and so 10 thought it was good, and 2 thought it was bad, and the bad idea don't come. They came. And so they actually sort of picked they licked, and relatives began to write back and forth saying, well, should we come your way? Should we go that way? People had, parents and children and uncles and aunts, and everybody's kind of vying for a different location. The Marion County, Kansas is the lead place. That was the major point. And then actually South Kansas and the neighboring Kansas, the very first Mennonite Brethren came in 1874 in August, and it was just a handful of families. The very first ones, I think it's a great story because it's Jacob Lowen. He was a Low German, and then Heinrich Nazarenus, he was not Low German. He was a different kind of German from the Don region and the plainer colonies. And so you have this, and then others joined them very soon. And then the very, this is what by Peter Eckert was actually the minister of the Mennonite Brethren, and he wanted very much to get his group over here. And the Mennonite Board of Guardians, they were very receptive to having making arrangements for the Mennonites to come, and so. And people in Indiana and Iowa and Illinois, they donated money to pay passage for their spiritual brethren in Russia, all the different parts of Russia, to come to and to not have to face restrictions of their beliefs. They didn't want that.
Yeah.
And so that was huge. By the time Peter Eckert got his plea in for money, please, I want you to bring my church over. And he said he had a church of 300 souls, and that's a big group.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's huge. And that would be adults; those wouldn't be children. And so, but you see, the Crimmer Mennonite Brethren, they were on the ball quicker, and they actually got passage money paid for 35 whole families, and they were given their money. And then come Alexander Voll and Hofnungsau, and they came just within a couple of weeks of that. So September 1874, August to September, and so then more. So the Mennonite Brethren were they told them, send over a couple of families at a time, 10 families, 8 families, spread it out so that the financial burden wouldn't be as large.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that is what Eckert did. And by 1876, his church was here in Marion County. And so that was their beginning. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a lot in Kansas. They're starting to get into Nebraska, Dakotas, Minnesota,
and that comes later. Yeah.
Yep. These groups get settled in various places, and then I think the first kind of official MB gathering of any kind of national level would be 1878. Is that right?
1878. Yes. The authorities, the experts, tried to say that the 1878 conference, that was our first big thing, that it wasn't really official because not everybody was there. See, and so we usually say 1879, the next year, we had a bigger representation. We had all the ministers there and the other folks that were supportive of all this. And so we usually say that that's our first official conference, Mennonite Brethren Conference. Okay. Yeah.
And so tell me what was the goal? Why did they decide that was worth? Because obviously back then, getting that many people together in one location would have been Huge deal.
It was huge. No, that's exactly right. It was huge. It may sound simplistic. They didn't want to be alone, and they wanted to be together, to support each other, and also to build up their group. They didn't want things to fall apart. They're coming from all different places, and they're speaking different kinds of German, and they're trying to support each other and to make some kind of a structure to be godly, to be faithful, something that you can go back to and say, well, this is what we believe, and we want this to be this way. And so they've tried very hard. So they had that 1879, the first, I'm going to call it the first really, really official conference.
Okay.
They had their opening introductions. They have their basically like a roll call, like we do now, and they had well, we would call it refreshments maybe, but there was a love feast. And the ladies had the job of putting out food morning and afternoon, and all of that, and they would have, oh my goodness, maybe 8 or 10 speeches or sermons. Some are short. They talks about short ones, talks about long ones, going on. And then they get into what I would call business meetings. Yeah. All the things that they want to discuss, because there's so many different viewpoints, people coming from all different places. So the thing like, do we include the ladies? Right. And are we going to vote? And what do we do about school? And what do we do about military? And what do we do about this brother who maybe doesn't say quite the right thing, and so they had all kinds of, to them, very, very important issues to debate and to decide. Yeah. And so they spent a lot of time doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's interesting, because they came from a very similar culture, similar Russia, Prussia. So with some of this, like, they're getting established in a new land, their lives looked completely different.
Oh, yes. So yes.
Did they start out pretty unified, and they just wanted to make sure they were kind of staying on the same page, or were there kind of some issues they were trying to, some things sprouted up quickly they needed to get under control? Do you have what was the kind of temperature like?
It depended on who was talking.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, that's my take on it when I read the minutes. So if you had a brother from Boone County, Nebraska, his church, this group of believers, they were caring about different things than the Abenfeld group was. And of course, Abenfeld was very diverse also. The only unifying thing really was that they were devout followers of Jesus Christ and his word, and the word of God, and that's what hung them together. And of course their interpretation on the word of God. I mean, the way of peace, the way of discipleship, that we're not here to make money, and we're not here to flaunt ourselves. We want to follow what God wants us to do and give out the gospel so other people can be saved. They never did want to forget that. They didn't want to forget that. That was primary. Yeah.
Well, I think that even way back then, that's kind of the beauty and kind of the struggle of being in a denomination where each church, each individual church body is going to have a different personality, different things they're passionate about, different, even just a little mini cultures.
That's right. Yeah.
There's also this umbrella that holds us all together, right? So I think that's
right. That is the strength of it. Yes. Yeah. That's the beauty of it. Yes.
So you mentioned, like, are women able to attend, maybe vote even?
Yeah, they discuss it. They discuss it.
Yep.
They discuss it. they're perfectly happy to have the woman bring food.
Okay. Of course.
Because
Yep.
you have this, for lack of a better word, this hierarchy.
Right.
Yeah, that was in place. And
Well, and again, this was the 1800s, so it was
yes, I mean,
right.
this is, yeah.
Mhm.
And this is all a big deal.
Yeah,
And you have all these little kids running around too.
sure.
I mean, they had big families.
So from your research, other than like women attending and stuff, I'm just curious, what were some of the other kind of things they were, debating or talking about? Was there other theological things they were wrestling through, or what were some of the important things they were?
When is Jesus coming back again?
Mm-hmm.
How much there always has been the balance between um, evangelism and what I, for lack of another word, relief work or serving others, the
Mm-hmm.
taking care of each other and the getting the gospel out.
Sure.
Those were the two big things. And
Mm-hmm.
so there were how much attention do we pay to one or the other? Should we vote? Should we pay attention to where we give our money?
Yeah.
Uh, and who's going to take care of children? And I mean, there was a lot of, and certain people, they'd say, well, do we really want him to be part of us or not?
Right. Right.
Yes. And every time, and they were quite attracted too in the beginning to some of the German speaking Bible teachers and evangelists who didn't
Mm-hmm.
come out of the Mennonite tradition, but who tried very much to be a part in the beginning, or at least to be influential among
Mm-hmm.
Mennonite brethren. And so then they'd have to discern, well, is that somebody we really want to follow, or give
Uh-huh.
attention to? They discussed a lot of those kinds of things. What do we do with foot washing? What do we do with property tax? I mean,
Yeah.
what do we do with all these things? Because
Right.
every group had certain things they were struggling with. Yeah.
Right.
And what do you do with excommunication? See, that
Mm-hmm.
was a big deal. And do we pay the evangelists or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these are things that we still work with, right? I mean,
That's what I was gonna say. It's kind of just going through the laundry list. It's kind of funny.
yeah,
Like some things
yeah.
are maybe unique and different now, but a lot of things haven't changed at all.
A lot of things haven't changed. A lot
Yes.
of things haven't changed. And if one man, their system of evangelism in the beginning was you held you identified communities that
Mm-hmm.
had large percentage of, maybe we would call non-Christians, or people
Uh-huh.
who had not joined the faith.
Yep.
And so you identified them, and so then you picked people. You
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, I think Pastor so-and-so should go over here and
Mm-hmm.
hold revival meetings for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and
Uh-huh.
then move on to another group that they identify as being very needy of salvation.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to figure out, and then so are you going to pay these people to leave their jobs, which are their
Right.
job is farming, is to,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to pay them, or are you going to tell them that we'll give them a little bit of money? This comes up in the conference all the time. We're going to give them a little bit of money, and then the kind of underlying thing is, well, they can always donate that money back. Well, and
Oh.
these men had families and
Uh-huh.
the farms to support and all of
Right.
this business, and so it was you can read between the lines. Yeah, how are you going to do all this?
Right. Right.
You ask a man to give up his livelihood for a month
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
so, and then what are you going to do to compensate? They
Right.
tried, some of the congregations tried, and then
Mm-hmm.
they would sometimes, so if you want him to, whoever it is, to come serve you with the word, what are you going to give him?
Yeah. Right.
besides meals.
Uh-huh.
It was understood that you needed to give him meals and a bed to sleep.
Right. Other than a box of pizza, what are you going to do?
There you go. But they thought it was so important. They made lists of me.
Yeah.
Okay, this community needs the gospel, and so what are we going to do there? And this one, and
well, yeah, that was my next question. I know early on, like the idea of mission, both locally and globally, it came up
was very
often,
important.
Very important. Yeah. So you talk about the kind of the local mission, or maybe expanding into new territories or whatever. It wasn't too long before the first international project came to be. Can you tell us about that?
Well, you talking about like overseas mission?
Yes.
The very first mission to another people group, are the Comanche Indians.
Right.
That was huge.
Yes, I think we did a whole episode. On that. So if people don't know, those are great stories. So yeah, go listen to that episode. But yeah.
That was such a. I'm still inspired by that.
Yeah.
The whole Indiahoma, Posto, Comanche Indian story is a fabulous story, and the first minister couple that Henry Kofeld, that ministered to the Comanches, he didn't see any reward. I mean, he worked a long time, and then finally he finally gave up, and then turns it over to Abram J. Becker and his wife Magdalena, and and they start, and did I say this story about how Mrs. Becker's sitting under a tree? Did I tell that part?
I don't remember that one. No.
The government had hired her to be a kind of a matron, to do things that, like teach the Indian women how to cook and sew and take care of children and this kind of thing. And so she was very instrumental, and even teaching them to read and things like that. And by her witness was wanting to win them to Jesus. She was telling them this: Jesus loved them and wants to save you and everything. And after a number of years of sharing her life with the Comanche Indian women, not one of them had accepted the Lord.
Wow.
And so the story is, what I was told by some of her descendants, she's sitting under this tree and she's weeping. And one of the Comanche women comes up to her and wants to know why are you weeping? Why are you crying? And she says, I've been here all this time and been working with you, and not one of you has accepted my Lord. And and she's pregnant. She's she's been living out her faith there. And the story is the woman goes back, and I see it's been something like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, and she goes back and she says, I will accept the Lord. So the first convert comes based on her sorrow,
her sympathy.
Her sympathy.
Yeah.
Wow, I just love that. I just think that's fabulous, because the women were the ones who were first receptive to the gospel among the Native Americans there at Posto in Indiahoma. It's a fabulous story. And the men were much slower to come.
Well, isn't that always true, Peggy? Isn't that always
true? I wasn't going to say that.
I'll say it for you.
Anyway, it's a fabulous story. I mean, her sorrow over that. Yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
Well, I want to make sure I get this right, because my understanding is that one of the first, again, like international MBs in the U.S. sending people out, there's some kind of partnership with the Baptists, right? And going to India, was that part of the early convention?
The very first Rochester, New York had a German Baptist seminary, and lots of our MBs and KMBs went there.
Okay.
And then later McPherson College, we had uh, educational school effort there, and
Okay.
yeah, that was huge. But the the partnership with German Baptists, that was very good. But their focus on military,
Mm.
that part wasn't quite as well received. Yeah, um, that was a big piece of it, because they didn't emphasize as much the way of peace as
Right.
as uh, as the Mennonite Brethren did.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
so was the mission to India, was that as a result of one of the early convention gatherings? Is that your understanding?
They were, yeah, well, they were always sending money to India. Oh, that was very early. That was before Africa. Yeah, the India story. Catherine Lorenz, she was the first lady to go to India. Yeah.
Wow.
And she actually uh she died, and Anna Hanneman took over her work in India.
Okay.
Yeah. And she was part of H.W. Lorenz's family, our first president of Tabor.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Tabor College was the school for all Mennonite Brethren, US
Yeah.
and Canada, in the beginning. And a lot of our missionaries all came out of Tabor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Hmm.
that was huge. An important piece to our story and our heritage. Yeah. Yeah. They
Yeah.
really pushed for that. Yeah.
Well, again, again, whether it was, India, or whether it was reaching out to Native Americans, or even just
Uh-huh.
expanding America in general, this
Uh-huh.
living on mission. So when they would come together for these conventions, they'd have these little tips they need to work out when they're trying to figure out who gets
Well,
money and who
big
doesn't, and all
discussions. Yeah,
big
big
discussions,
discussions.
big
They were
discussions.
big discussions.
Yes.
And some went over better than other, or more smoothly than others, but they cared so much. They
Yes.
cared so much about it.
Mhm.
So the passion was there.
Yeah.
And without the passion,
Hmm.
something doesn't get done. I mean, that's the truth of it. They
Well,
had to
again,
have the passion.
I think it's helpful to have just some history in mind too, because again, this was 1800s. So if someone's
Uh-huh.
pack up their family, again, leave their family farm
Yes.
to minister
Yeah.
to new people, or maybe go to a new country,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
even financial support, I imagine, was a lot more difficult then than it would be for
Oh,
us today. So it's, again, just a kind of a
it's
different.
a whole different thing. Yeah.
Yes.
And they expected, if you should donate your time. The
Yes.
farmers who gave up,
Uh-huh.
this was big. And then to have people to donate for you. Uh,
Mhm.
you know, um, in my husband's family, we have little certificates where different members of his family. This is the oldest generation. So they would give $100
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the late 1800s,
Mhm.
to to the mission effort.
Yeah.
It had a
Yeah.
long German name, but it was the Mennonite Brethren Missions, and
Right.
that was huge. That was
Hmm.
that was
Hmm.
huge, and so you signed your name on a piece of paper, and that
Hmm.
meant you were giving away a lot of your
Yeah.
income
Right.
to support missions, both home and foreign. It was
Hmm.
it was all important. In the beginning, it was home mission, but very soon became
Hmm.
both.
Yeah.
They called it Heiden Mission, mission to heathen. That's what we
Oh,
called
okay. Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. So,
Well,
but
and
that
again,
was
things look
it
different
was
today,
huge.
but yes, but like
Yeah,
evangelism, discipleship, church planting, those are still the things that are
those
at
are
the top
still the
of our
things we
list.
care about.
Right.
Yes, and
Right.
we should be. And there are some minutes, some of those early minutes that say things like, we don't want to spend all of our time singing, or eating and
Okay.
singing. We want to hear from the word. We want to
Hmm.
hear from
Hmm.
from the from the word of God, and what we should be doing. And and that kind of thing. The exhortation to be following Jesus with your whole self. And that was a big deal. That was it. That was the core. That's what kept them together. Yeah.
And again, I hope a lot of those things would stay the same today. So I imagine you've been to several of these gatherings over the years, Peggy.
Oh, yeah.
If you were to look at, if you're looking ahead to Salt Lake, or if you look back to Henderson or Kansas City, the recent ones, how are things today similar and different to some of those original gatherings?
We still care a great deal about missions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's bottom line. Sometimes we want to encourage families to come, so we try to say, we try to put a spin on that we can include a vacation with this.
Oh, right.
In the beginning, they didn't do that. They didn't.
Right.
And no, there was nothing close to a vacation.
It was a sacrifice. Yeah.
No, it was a sacrifice. And so in that respect, it's a little different. Actually, maybe a lot different. But the care and the compassion is still there, but we just have to make it known. I mean, we can't have to keep doing it. And it's important to promote, to say why this is important, and to be enthusiastic about it. You know, so that it's not just something dull and boring. Oh yeah, we have to have the business meeting now part, but that it's very exciting. Every time somebody gets saved, or every time somebody, makes a commitment to follow more deeply, that's something to praise the Lord for. And that's why we're alive, right? I mean, that's to give honor and glory to God for his gospel, and then to give it out to other people. So somehow, but they work so hard at trying to get that done. I mean, that was, and I would like to see us keep on working hard at getting it done. Missions and serving each other physically for needs is very important. We have to take care of each other, and part of it is taking care of not just our bodies, but our souls.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you just said you want people to be excited and passionate, and maybe even know really why are we doing this in the first place? In your words, what would you say the purpose is for now, for 2026? What's the purpose of us getting together this summer?
We want to exalt and glorify Jesus and his gospel and his mission. And whatever that means. And support it with our whole being. I didn't come from a Mennonite Brethren background, and I was terribly excited to become Mennonite Brethren. And a large part of that was due to my husband's grandfather. He was a Rickard. He comes from a long tradition of faithful followers of Jesus, and he would tell me stories about how important it was to follow Jesus and to take care of each other and to memorize the word and to teach it. I mean, and somebody has to be saying it. You have to keep on saying it. And if you don't say it, if you assume, you lose. If you make assumptions and you don't say it, you lose ground. Yeah.
Well, we said this a long time ago, but again, there's a real blessing and a real strength from individual churches having their own culture and personalities. But then again, there's a real strength in coming together.
Yes.
As a large
and encouraging each other.
And learn from each other and be reminded. There's great things happening in California and Utah. And Texas, and we're just coming together to hear the stories.
And to strengthen each other. And to strengthen each other. We're in this together.
Yes.
And we want it to be good. Yeah.
Well, to start to wrap up, again, another term we've said this on the podcast several times, and it's kind of overused, maybe even cheesy at this point, but the whole idea of living on mission, that's kind of one of these buzzwords. But again, I think really the people who came to America for religious freedom, they
living on mission.
They lived it out, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
For you, again, America's changed a lot. MB churches have changed, at least some, over a couple hundred years. So what would you say you hope people like living on mission as an MB leader today? What were some kind of the top priorities for you? Again, as we're kind of keeping the convention in mind.
To not be lax, to not be slow, not to be slow.
Yeah.
Sometimes we take so long to get our act together, and there is, we don't know when Jesus is coming again and going to set up his kingdom. We don't know any of that, but that doesn't mean we stop working. That we don't do the things that are needed to have people come to Christ, to have churches grow, to help people out. I mean, all of that is critical, and not to say, "Oh, that will happen later." Well, not really. Unless if there is an urgency, there should be an urgency, and I mean, like meeting in Utah. Can I tell a personal story? My grandmother was a school teacher in Tooele, Utah. That's outside. Okay. That's outside the big mecca for the.
Yeah.
And and she and her mother, my great grandmother, actually belonged to a little tiny itty bitty Methodist church.
Okay.
Yes, but they didn't join the dominant group. They stayed with that, and I have to think that my grandmother died when she was 29 with the birth of my father. But but that sense that there still were people that were following Jesus and the Bible, even in the midst of a dominant culture that's not, in my mind, not God honoring. And so, I just think because the Holy Spirit is constantly drawing people, trying to draw people, and for salvation, for mission, I mean, it's critical that we don't be lax about it, and that we take a stand for it. Yeah, I think.
I agree. Well, Peggy, I think our time's wrapping up here. You're always just so fun to chat with, and I don't know how you pull all these names and these dates just out of the air like you do. You do a great job. So
thank you. No,
thanks for sharing this history with us. Yeah, I think there's a piece for the Christian Leader, right, where there's a little bit more detail about some of the early gatherings. So if people are interested, you could check out the Christian Leader. I think there's some more detail on that.
Oh, so. That's cool. That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. I hope to see you sometime soon, but at least we'll catch up in Utah here in a few months. So
okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Looking to grow as a leader and develop new leaders in your church? Check out Leadership Fuel, your twice-a-month source for hand-picked leadership development resources. From books and articles to videos and podcasts, each recommendation is curated to help ministry leaders deepen their influence and multiply leaders in their context. If you're passionate about investing in the next generation of leaders, you'll find tools, insight, and inspiration waiting for you. Visit leadershipfuel.org to explore the latest resources.
Well, Peggy's been on 4 times now, and I don't think she's run out of stories yet. I think she's still got a few more in her. So, Peggy, thanks again so much for being generous with your time today. And like we said, the passion, the urgency, the things that drove those early MB leaders should, and I think do, still drive us today. That sense of mission and the importance of discipleship, those things have not changed. And so, hey, again, I encourage you, if you haven't signed up yet, it's not too late. We'd love to have you join us at Gathering here soon in July. So head over to USMB.org to check all that information out. We'd love to see you in Salt Lake. And we also mentioned there is a kind of a feature on the Christian Leader website with some more details about convention history stuff. So if you check out ChristianLeaderMag.com, when I checked it out this morning, it was right there on the homepage. So I bet you can find it there if you want to. And speaking of the Christian Leader, I kind of gave a little bit of a teaser last time. There's some really cool things in the works between the podcast and the magazine. We're really close to sharing some fun information, kind of a big announcement. So, you know what? That's probably all I can say right now, but stay tuned. There's some stuff in the works behind the scenes. I think it's going to be really cool. I think you're going to like it too. So stick with us. Hopefully we'll be able to share some information here soon. All right. Well, hey, thank you again so much for listening wherever you are today. Thanks for making Lead Pods part of your week. Hope you have a great week as we kick off summer here. And I'll see you again in a couple weeks right here on Lead Pods.
Thanks for listening to Lead Pods. Make sure you don't miss an episode by subscribing to our show wherever you're listening today. Learn more by visiting usmb.org and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll see you next time as we learn more practical tools to increase our impact together.